Science, mysticism, spirituality, the law of attraction, positive thinking, the secret. Everyone thinks that those are all separate things. They all capture our attention. The whole idea of metaphysics and new thought is thousands and thousands of years old. I don't know how it came to be termed new thought. But it still all boils down to you can't separate science from mysticism, from spirituality, from the law of attraction, from the laws of the universe and the way things work. You just can't separate them. They're a whole. And that's what we've done, and that's why we're in such the mucky mess that we are. Because when you separate anything, any part from the whole, and try to examine that one part, and decide that you know about all the others, I mean, does that make any sense to you at all? And that's, if you look at the results that are around, those are the results you've gotten if you had tried that avenue of doing it. For some reason, science in the last, 100 years or slightly over has become this elevated, absolute resource. If it can be proven scientifically, then it's real and then it's valid and nothing else is. And my gosh, even there's some sort of kind of validity in that. But if you look at science, look at what science has discovered, and they stand and they say, we have discovered this. And then 20 years somebody comes and proves that that's not true. Or even in the midst of it, medicine, modern Western medicine is based on science. And science, the whole foundation of it is that you're supposed to be able to, you have a theory about the way something works. So you set about in very definable, you can write it down, you can record it, conditions to test this theory. And you test it until you've proven it or demonstrated it. Then your science experiment there, someone else, or preferably lots of someone else's, need to take your little instruction manual, everything that you've recorded, and go perform your experiment themselves and have it turn out the same way that you did. And if that happens, and ideally that happens often, then it's proven. But, as we'll explore, that doesn't really mean anything, because Schrodinger's cat was the experiment that demonstrated, turned science on its ear, the ones that were the scientists in the scientific community that was open to being present and open to being aware of what science was doing around them rather than what they learned in school, being in the real world of hands-in, hands-on science. Schrodinger's cat was, and this is absolutely disgusting, and I'm not condoning this, but science, because they're removed, was an experiment on a cat and many cats. And the scientists came to discover that the experiment couldn't be replicated. The cat in the box is the cat in the box. Did it die as a result of the things that the scientists were doing to it? Which it should have, because that's what they were doing to it. But the cat didn't always die. So, in trying to discover why the experiment wasn't replicable, what they did discover, which is quantum physics and spirituality and the law of attraction and the laws of the universe and the way it works, quantum physics, law of attraction, law of magnetics, law of harmonizing frequencies. Basic bottom line is the cat was alive or dead based on the expectation of the scientists performing the experiment. And that was a serious wow discovery. But you know, if you get to the bottom line of it, it pretty much says it's done to you as you believe. And that's the basic law of the universe. It's done to you as you believe. Your beliefs, the belief of the individual, is the only thing that impacts you in your life. That's it. That's it. That's it. You and what you pull in with your amazing, delicious five senses are the only thing that has any basis in your life. And then you join together with other yous and other me's and other they's, and you mix frequencies and you mix energies in this big cosmic soup. But the universe, as quantum physics is discovering and has discovered, quantum physics was first coined and first discovered 100 years ago. Were you taught about it in high school? Was it even really mentioned in school? Do you even know particularly about quantum physics right now? This isn't a new science, but it knocks the standard Newtonian science on its ear, because the rules that we thought we lived in Newtonian science that was discovered in the 1500s, a bit of time ago, a bit of, at that time, that was cutting edge stuff, because that's as far as anyone had lived. And we kind of don't process that in when we're thinking that right now is the farthest anyone has lived, so we are cutting edge. But look back even 30 or 40 years ago. There was no email. There was no email like 15 years ago. But can you remember life before email? Can you remember life before Google? Can you remember life before your cute little Star Trek flip phone cell phone? Those are conveniences and developments just in the last decade. So when you look at science the same way, don't you think we've kind of evolved more into what we're perceiving and understanding in the last, say 400 years? And that's what quantum physics has done. Quantum physics goes down and has proven that the smallest unit we can find is constantly fluctuating. It's constantly vanishing from us being able to see it. And it goes through stages of being vanished, liquid, solid, gas. And all of these little tiny units have their own intelligence, and they come together to form every single thing. They come together to form the planet that vanished and imploded in the galaxy so many hundreds of light years ago that we can still perceive it now. They come together to form the leaves on the trees outside and the rose growing, and you, every single thing in your body, every single thing you see, everything we can see, everything we're aware of is formed out of these units. That's it. That's all we've got. That's all we've got. So science is able to prove that now. And we're going to continue this on in just a moment, because we actually need to take a little film break.